Hannah, thanks very much indeed. Yes, you know, 32 years of age, Albin Ouschan today. What a wonderful birthday present it would be to collect this $30,000 US first prize, and of course zoom up the rankings as well and go a million miles to
it's Albin Ouschan who wins
a
the
return
leg.
to the European Mosconi Cup team. But he was quite right in the interview. He wasn't dismissing the chances of Mario He, and with every justification. Basically, the equation is this: if you can beat Joshua Filler in a race to 11, you can beat Albin Ouschan. Ouschan undefeated here. He's won 7 matches out of 7. There was one blip for Mario He. He lost to Sebastian Batkovsky, but recovered well on the one-loss side. And he's on a 5-match winning streak, highlighted by that victory over Fulda.
Albin Ouschan to break.
Well, Jeremy, the theme of dry breaks, which permeated the match between Shane Van Boning and Matthias Snigotsky last night, continues here.
Yeah, he may have cut him a little thinner than he wanted there, and now Mario with a decision here early. Kind of fancy him cutting at this, coming straight down at the 2 and 3 with the cue ball. Hard shot to want to pull the trigger, you know, to open the match, but Mario obviously in form. And maybe that's kind of shows you something. He doesn't get enough credit, you know, shot making. Showed it yesterday in the filler match when he did get out of line with the cue ball a little bit, came with a lot of shots, and he opened with a nice one right there, Phil.
Warmly appreciated by what is a fantastic crowd here. They love their cue sports in Germany. When the snooker comes here for the German Masters at the Tempodrome in Berlin, it's one of the best attended events of the entire year. And this is too. Great to see.
Yeah, and this would normally be a simple kick shot, but Mario really has placed the object ball in a very difficult position with the 3 ball being there.
Extension, please.
So maybe not as much choices. I'm not sure why he's looking that route exactly. I think he's got to just go one rail here, knowing there's not a whole lot of safety opportunity here on the kick shot, but you got to make a good hit. He'd like to aim a little higher up the rail, trying to create a little more as far as coming into the 2 ball, but the 3 really has that closed off. So the 2 should be going towards the upper corner with the cue ball towards the side.
Foul.
Well, he misjudged that.
Illegal
For Albin
contact.
Ouschan, that was pretty far off on the kick.
Please start the clock.
Yes, he didn't just get a thin edge of the red 3 ball, did he? He got a lot of it.
Yeah, and really, if you did pay attention to that replay, if the 3 wasn't there, I think he would have bypassed the 2 as well.
Extension, please.
And just like yesterday, Mario He a chance to get off and running. He broke the balls exceptionally against against Josh. Not too much concern here. He's just going to have to travel the cue ball off the 4 around back table for the 5 in the side. Good thing is the 3 is near, so he should set up. Oh, he decided to open it. Nothing wrong with that. Very controlled. And very smart play, actually. Kind of overlooked that one, Phil. And Mario, of course, that big match against Filler yesterday, and heavy German crowd, and Filler a home favorite. He had to deal with that a little bit, and he got across that nicely. Now a little different story, a home countryman that he's had a lot of success with on the world stage, and so a little different mental aspect, you might say.
He wasn't in the Austrian team for the World Cup this year. He was replaced by Max Lechner. They're a tight bunch, the Austrians, and I noticed when Mario He walked in, sitting on the back row was Lechner himself.
Yeah, quite a bit light there, and fundamentally just got I don't know if you noticed, got a little quick with the backswing, had a little heavier pause than he normally has in the back, and a little light with the forward. Got to make a nice little delicate shot. And just like yesterday, and as you roll and you gain confidence, this grows more, but he's not doubting himself at all. He's pulling the trigger. You don't see any adjustment when he's down on the ball. A lot of confidence.
Yeah, bundles of English on that, wasn't there? That really was a classy shot, especially straight out of the gate.
Yeah, this first opening rack, getting the time at the table, pocketing a tough one ball to start. Nice safety that returned ball in hand, and now a pretty clean out.
Wins the first rack.
Mario He is a player who is, by the general pool public, not quite in the highest category, but he's got the capability to be there, and he's taken the first rack from Albin Ouschan. This is his first ever major Matchroom event semi-final. We wondered how he would deal with it, how he would cope. Well, early indications are very positive.
Yeah, very, very positive, and that goes back and you see his route to the semifinal. Not really too many close matches in there against a lot of great players. So that means he's started off well in these matches and continued through.
Yeah, everyone will zone in on the filler match, but beating Spahiu and Hebler 10-3, no mean feat. And the 9-4 victory over Mickey Kraus in the losers qualification round was also noteworthy. Mickey Kraus is a fine young player from Denmark.
The second rack.
Yeah, with
Maybe to
more,
break.
what
Leading one.
I feel like is going to be more, and I kind of know will be more Matchroom events on the Nineball schedule. It's just going to motivate these players, and it's difficult to win out there. Joshua Filler and others, Shane Van Boning, they make it look easy. Of course, Albin Ouschan as well, but it's just not a regular thing. You win one of these kind of tournaments a year, you've really done something.
So that's 2 breaks, 2 dry breaks. What a difference the start of today has been to the start of yesterday, when Jason Shaw and Joshua Filler, in the early stages of their last 16 match, had 3 golden breaks between them.
Yeah, now we're in a push-out situation. If you're new to Nineball, after the break, you have the option to roll the cue ball anywhere, and the incoming player has the option to take the shot or give it back. Most of the time in this situation, you're trying to lengthen the game. You may tie a ball up, like maybe roll the 5 onto the 2 somehow, something like that.
Push out call.
Gotta believe he's going towards that congestion. He's going to play for a thin hit on the one, it looks like.
Mario, your choice.
You'll see some of the players, when the nerves aren't so high, a thin hit doesn't bother them so much, but they may pass a thin hit when they're a little nervous or in a big moment. Now, it looks like to me he's got enough of this to run the cue ball maybe safe, but it's a dangerous shot. Doesn't appear the kick shot is that great with the 6 being there. Now the other shot, you can kick to the top rail, clip the 1, let it go into the 6, and then run the cue ball back down on the bottom end of the table. It's not a bad shot. A lot going on with it, but a little touchy
Albin,
situation here. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. He's going to kick to the back rail, try and use the 6 to contain the 1, and then watch the cue ball come off the 1 to the side cushion he's near, and then back down table, possibly behind some other balls. Should have a little speed on this.
Extension, please.
You saw Mario, he give that shot back. That meant Albin Ouschan had got 30 seconds to play the shot because it's a 30-second shot clock.
Yeah, see, just like that. And I don't know if he recognized the shot. I think Mario did. And a nice play there from Albin Ouschan. And that's one thing mentally I think Mario may have to deal with, Phil, is he knows, like the rest of us, how great that man in your screen is tactically in decision making, and to give the push out back may have been a little difficult.
So on his last visit to the table, Oschon called his 1 allowable extension per rack, and now Mario He does the same.
Yeah, and when the center of the table is so open the way it is, clipping the ball and running the cue ball safe is just always going to be dangerous. You may come towards the 2 with the cue ball here off the right side of the 1. Try to get the 1 out in space. Like, oh, he's playing a soft one. Got to have a lot of control here. Probably would have tried to depend on a little distance there running the cue ball.
When the cue ball has been close to a cushion like this, I've seen Oschan miss a few this week, most notably a vital 7 ball against Dennis Grabber. He won the match in the end, but only just.
Great call, Phil, and I'll tell you what, he's just kept him off an offensive shot for a little bit. Maybe his first look at one, and kind of really just didn't let it go. You'll notice the cue ball was a little shy as well. Now the thick hit has something to do with that, but not as much release of the cue that I'm used to seeing from Albin. Looks like a very good shot there. No, I don't know how snookered he is. I think, oh, it's a great view. And is he going to elevate the cue here and possibly try and make the 2? Is he going to bank the 1 back down, try to use the 2 to hold the cue ball? I think that's more of the shot. Watch the 2 bounce off the side rail here a little bit. Oh, he's... So we'll see what happens. This is a huge game, I think. I think Mario, after a couple little mistakes early here from Albin, if Mario can win this game, Albin may get a little heady with himself, a little mental. You know, we all know that occasionally that's the thing that holds him back.
What you just said, Jeremy, is absolutely true, but he's so much better in terms of temperament now, isn't he, Oschan, than he used to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, we talked about it early in the tournament when there was no shot clock. I thought he got on with it. He really maybe constantly still working on that. Looks like a safety here. He played the 4. That was surprising to go for that. Not saying it was terrible, but the thing is, the cue ball did come up the table, but if he had made it, the cue ball would have been much nearer this bottom rail, and hard to predict a real shot.
And now this is a real chance to double his lead. The 7 ball will pass the 8.
And he'll just go the rail, little 4 or 5 inch bounce off the rail. Make cueing easy. Should come 2 cushions with a little high left English towards the center of the table. Now a decision. Does he come past the side? Does he lay up just before the side? He can handle both. Thing is, when you come past the side, you just speed control a little more crucial.
So many good things about Mario He. One of them, I think, is the fact he cues so well. That little pause on the backswing, the delivery, couldn't really be faulted.
No, he's got pretty effortless power. Very straight stroke, of course. You can't get to where he's gone in the pool world without great fundamentals. And the other thing, always looking to improve. That's where the difference is some players get to a point and they don't realize they're standing still, or others just continue on.
We started off this match talking about birthdays. Mario He celebrated his 29th birthday 11 days ago, so this would be a belated present. And what a present it would be, defeating Joshua Fulda and Albin Ouschan in back-to-back matches on a major stage. Of course, a lengthy match this. It's a race to 11, but he has erected quite a useful platform there.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, if you think about later this year, of course, the U.S. Open, one of our major events in Atlantic City in mid-October, but then the Moscone Cup later on. It's going to have to make Alex Lely think about things a little bit, not only because of points. If Mario goes on to win this, he'll jump right in that mix of automatic bids through the rankings, but even if he's just outside of it, performing well in big stages puts you in the conversation.
And the point is, although this is new to him in terms of a major Matchroom event being in the semi-finals, he has won big tournaments. European 8-ball champion in 2012 and last year, 4 times a Euro Tour winner.
The third rack. Mario to break, leading 2-0.
All right, a ball down. That's the other thing we saw that changed a little bit since we got to the final 16 is the guy's not making the one in the side as much. We saw him make a thin cut on the one in the opening game, so this shouldn't be a problem pocketing this one ball, even though it's not easy. Oh, has the 5 got him here? Or is he open?
Well, immediately after the break, he walked around the table and he took a quick look, and the way he jumped straight back up suggested to me he was okay, but that look suggests he might not be okay.
Yeah, he may be able to cue a little left English. I wouldn't say like a real swerve shot, but just a subtle swerve and throw the one in. Come at the 2 with the cue ball. Yeah, just like that. Had to sacrifice the cue ball a little bit. Yeah, so the left English helping in 2 ways there. Get around the 5, plus also kick the 1 into the pocket. Not sure what the play is here. This is difficult.
Extension called.
I mean, offense doesn't look like an option. He could overcut the 2. Try and put the 2, go to the side rail, put it behind the green 6 and run the cue ball. Got to be subtle with it, and you need some right spin. Watch out for that corner with the cue ball. Yeah, he caught the 5, but he had to play the object ball. That was so important.
Yeah, he was thwarted for distance by the 5, but look where the 2 ended up. Ouschan with more headaches.
Yeah, and the real first shot between the 6-8 with a lot of left side is something you can play at your room, your club table, but here the English just won't quite grab as much or enough, let's say. Maybe a soft kick, just trying to lay on the 2 ball, and like I said before, extend the game. Wow, how good is he? Yeah, hard to tell how that's a great camera view, how good the snooker is totally. Mario, if he's open a little, like I think he is, he should take the best of it here, kicking the 2 away. And already here early, we've seen what the changes to the break rule have done. A lot of people don't realize when they watch Nineball pool the last few years just how much there is to the game and how much these guys really have to work on and consider. He missed an easy kick earlier. I wouldn't say easy, but one he should hit. Just going to dress up on the 9. I don't know if he's got a pocket here. Yeah, he does. So now he's in a good spot. He's just going to draw the cue ball back kind of in the position it's in now. That'll leave him a natural angle off the 5 to come some 2 or 3 cushions down for the 6. A lot of work left here. You can see he's got to go from the 5 back to the 6, 6 back to the 7, back to the 8. So nothing routine for the big guy. I'm a little surprised he didn't draw the cue ball back. He would have suffered a little more angle on the 5, but anytime you get a little closer, your accuracy's just a little better. Uh-oh, this could be a problem. This ball lands on the rail. This could get funny. Yeah. And that's kind of why I thought he may draw back further on that first shot, because I would have wanted to get below the 6 a little bit where I can naturally run up the table for the 7, especially with the 8 being there. He's going to have to take a long shot on the 7 here, I think. Maybe just get above the 9 and cut the 7 in. Oh, it looks like he's going to unload here. He's still going to have to take a thin one. And I thought he would just dress up on the right side of the 9 field and take that cut on the 7. This one looks much more treacherous.
always looked a massive call to suggest he could be nicely on the 7. It seemed highly unlikely.
Needs a bump. Yeah, but he's gotten thin on the 8 and a big stretch. It's not the type of shot you want to use the rest. Because these cut shots here, they play easier when you can put some speed on the cue ball. The connection between cue ball and object ball just a little cleaner. Looks like the safety. And he's overhit this a bit, and I don't know if the 8's gotten to the rail. It hasn't.
A classic case of overstretching, consequently being off balance and mistiming the shot.
Yeah, it's amazing how that little stretch can get you a little bit. Usually don't put enough power into the shot, and now big shot for Albin Ouschan. Well, there'll be no safety here. We're going to see a long rail bank. And even though early, Phil, big shot, I think, in this match.
Yeah, missed 3 pots already in the match. Of difficulty, one has to say, though. He's the man so far. The starter motor on the Albin Ouschan Juggernaut has got problems. He needs to take it to the garage. Right now, Mario He is looking good. He leads by 3 racks to 0. Ouschan glum. It's been a tournament where, although we've got two giants of the game still left, shocks have occurred. Are we going to see a surprise here? Mario He, length of the table, 8-ball, knocked in beautifully. And then the 9 was a formality. Already, Albin Ouschan having plenty to think about.
Thank you, the 4th rack. Mario He is leading the match by 3 racks to 0 and will break.
Now referee Marcel Eckhart announcing the start of rack 4, and of course the pertinent thing here, it's a winner breaks format.
Yeah, that's the break that we saw a lot of yesterday, and I think it was 4 racks. He broke and ran, and he's just kind of kept the handcuffs on Albin so far. Of course, a tough 8-ball there from Albin, but I don't think that commercial break could come soon enough for the 2-time world 9-ball champion. I mean, in America, we say that's like a deer in headlights somewhat. Not sure what the saying is over here, but
Rabbit in the headlights.
oh, there you go, rabbit. Nice shot. Okay, he's got a little zigzag angle here. He'll hit before the 8 where he's standing on the side rail, and then just kind of let the cue ball spread off that second rail towards the 7. You'll notice it'll be in control and kind of slowly going up towards the 7 with the cue ball. Maybe he gets to the head string, something like that. And he's just a player that keeps it in control. And if he, keeps it between the ears, he's going to be a tough guy to beat.
Hasn't won a big tournament this year, but he's been close on several occasions. Not just in Europe, but in the States as well. 3rd in the Cajun Coast Classic in Morgan City, Louisiana. 3rd also in the Pro Players Championship in Pennsylvania. As for over here on this side of the Atlantic, he was semi-finalist in the European Straight Pool Championship, runner-up in the 8-ball, 5th in the Bucharest Open, quarter-finalist in the UK Open, and only last weekend he was a semi-finalist in the Petrosh Open on the Euro Tour. So he's been consistently efficient.
Yeah, and he just doesn't fall to, there's a line there about his game that he doesn't get below very often. All right, got to put a little into this, coming 3 rails around the 9. Perfect speed, and just like yesterday, he's starting to look more comfortable as it goes, and I don't know if I can say the same for Albin.
Mario He wins the rack.
It is the first break and run out of the match, and it goes in the same direction as the other 3 racks. Mario He is blanking Albin Ouschan at the moment. He's a World Cup teammate. 4-0. So many great tournaments on the pool horizon these days, thanks to the input of Matchroom. And both of these events will take place in the good old USA. Harrah's Resort in Atlantic City will be, for the 2nd year in succession, hosting the US Open. Carlo Biardo wearing the jacket last year, lifting the trophy aloft. Jeremy Jones has one of those jackets. He's a US Open champion of the past. What an achievement. And then the last day of November and the first 3 days of December, it's the Mosconi Cup at Bally's in Las Vegas. By the time we arrive there, it might well be called the Horseshoe Las Vegas. Will it be a lucky horseshoe for Jeremy Jones, who's the captain of the US team there? We keep trying to get information out of Jeremy on air about who he's going to pick, and he never tells us anything.
No,
Thank you,
well, definitely still a lot to
Mario
go
is leading 5-0.
before
4-0.
those selections are made. Of course, 3 by rankings, 2 from the captain's choices. Mario He to break here again. I think that's improving as well. Just as I open my mouth, he has a dry break and a very, very important rack here early for his fellow Austrian, Albin Ouschan. And we talked about it with Filler. We talked about it with a lot of pros. I mean, you know, who leaves the mistakes behind the easiest? And you got to do that with the great shots as well, but it seems like when you falter, that's the one that you really have to just exit from the mind and get going. Coming between the traffic here, 1 rail. In great position now, can just come across the table for the 4. The 5's near the left side. I think it does go by the 9. Wouldn't expect a 5-9 combo.
Extension, please.
Doesn't have the entire pocket, so just got to pay attention to these types of shots. Not saying shouldn't be a problem because he's just going to screw the cue ball back a couple inches for the 6. Nothing extra here. Yeah, he's a little concerned that the bounce off that end rail looked like it was a little hot to him. And when you make a few mistakes, you can start to be concerned with a lot of things that are just kind of normal, really.
Good effort so far, considering that before this attempted dish, he hadn't potted a single ball.
Now, looking at his tip, I heard a little bit of a different sound that time, but I don't think there's any issue. Needs to put a hair left English here to make sure the cue ball avoids this lower right-hand corner.
It was a dry break. Will that precipitate the floodgates opening? Well, at least Ouschan has 1 rack on the board. His lead reduced to 4-1. It's a very different dynamic, this match, for these two. So often we've seen them in the World Cup pooling their resources to great effect. Together, these two have won the World Cup twice, in 2017 and 2019.
And if I remember correctly, twice runner-up or once runner-up? I think twice.
Yeah, they had the chemistry, there's no doubt about that. But of course, when it came down to the rankings this year, Max Lechner went in above he as Albin Ouschan's partner in the World Cup. And that's another big motivation, I know for sure, for Mario He to do well in these events and to rectify that and to get back representing his country in the biggest international team event there is. I'm calling the Mosconi Cup an intercontinental team event. Always very meticulous Marcel Eckhart when it comes to racking the balls. Something the players very much appreciate.
Albin Ouschan is trailing
that's
for
another
1.
thing, Marcel.
And will break.
Appreciate him so much because just like the players, always looking to improve at his job, and a very smart man, and love having him. He hit those pretty well. Again, the one ball not being played as much. So this is where, you know, you can really kind of punish Albin for those early mistakes. We do expect some dry breaks. We do expect to where you're not going to get shots off the break when you do make balls. And so if he can do something with this rack here, I think Albin may start to feel a little pressure.
Look at that stat. Very high incidence of dry breaks. 4. And this is only rack 6.
Yeah, he's got to get into the 2 with the cue ball here. Touchy little shot. Oh, he's overcut it. And a lot of times the players just aren't as comfortable when they have to go into a ball like that. And not saying it was supposed to be missed, but for some reason, it's like they're worried about the contact on the 2 and maybe lose a little focus on the 1. Okay, that cue ball just came clear. Difficult rack again, though. The 4 a little congested with the 6. He's got to get shape on the 3 to get properly on the 4 to get decent on the 5. He may play a 4-6 combo, we'll see. But anytime the players have to travel up and down the table with the cue ball from shot to shot, that's where the real work lies. Now, he can get shape on the 4 to the lower right, but he's in a position to where he can't get great shape to make it easy to get on the 5. So he's going to stun over for the 4-6 combo. Well, this is an interesting shot. Looks like contacting the 9 is really kind of, you almost have to hit the 9 in some manner. Now, if he misses the pocket a hair, the 4 could drop towards the 8. Yeah, it's okay. That looks like it has to go. It's just a little bit. It's close to it, so accuracy should be at a premium, but a little bit more of a shot than he expected.
Terrific for these players to be warmly appreciated. Lots of applause going on. And now, after being in a multi-table situation for the entire tournament, it is just sole focus on one table. When we started here, 10 o'clock local time on Tuesday morning, 24 tables were in operation.
Albin Ouschan wins.
Now, Albin Ouschan is centre stage, and that's where he loves to be. He's back in the reckoning, make no mistake. Mario He's lead is reduced to 4-2. It is just what we expected.
Albin Ouschan to break, trailing by 4-2.
Highly competitive. If you're just joining us, this is the first semi-final of the inaugural European Open. Mario He, the outsider, he won the first 4 racks. But then a dry break scuppered him in the 5th, and a missed 1 ball cost him in the 6th.
Yeah, and I really think that this is where it can get a little mental for Albin, the break shot. You know, he's really looks like he's a little confused with what's going on out there.
When do you see this? 7 breaks, 5 dries.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I mean, when do you change to just smashing them head on instead and go away from the cut break? I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, I think Delgado's done that at times during the tournament. I'll tell you, a few years ago at the U.S. Open, we had a similar break rule. I did the same thing in a lot of matches. I would cut the break for, you know, 3 or 4 games in, trade some games, but then halfway through, I'd take my chances smashing them, and it had some success. So we talk about it all the time. You can't be stubborn. Marcel right on top of this. He could foul easily. Watch out, Nineball. This is going to hurt.
Well, by craning over the table like that, he broke all of the alignment rules, didn't he? Coaches all around the world will be screaming there at their TV screens.
Yeah, he just really had no chance to play it with the rest, though. You couldn't get the rest and the cue stick and everything out of the way. So trying to size up some type of percentage play on this kick.
Extension called.
Now, a lot would say, why doesn't he go across the table, trying to pocket the two in the side? And it's a fair argument, really. I mean, of course, a little more secure kick as far as hitting the two ball going the route he's going. Trying to figure out what he really likes as far as a safety on this kick. I don't really see it. If he runs underneath it, he could scratch. So Albin's going to get a shot here. I think the two plays. I think the shot clock got the best of him there, Phil, because I don't mind the shot he played. I thought he would play it lighter.
What you're bound to see over the course of the two semi-finals and the final, in at least one instance, even though the players are fully aware of the shot clock, sometimes in the moment you tend to forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's happened to all of us. Some more famous than others, unfortunately. And now he's shot the 2 and tied up the 5 and 8. He's a little straight on the 3. Can he gain an angle on the 4 to somehow produce the 5? Doesn't look like the combination plays on the 5-8. That looks a little light. He wanted to go maybe 2 inches further. That way he could carry the cue ball into the 5-8. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays safe right here. He could clip the edge of the pink, come 2 cushions behind the 5-8, maybe bump it open. He could pocket the 4 and then play a mild safety on the 5, I suppose.
Extension, please.
Yeah, this is the shot I saw. I think he wants to come to the back and rub either the 8 or the purple 5. I don't know if he's gotten behind him or not. Yes, he has. Great shot.
Yeah, so much value in that shot that Jeremy Jones identified immediately. So much value.
Yeah, now what he's done with that just little tickle and rub on the 5 and the 8. The 5 doesn't play, but now the kiss shot on the 8 does. So this type of kick shot, he may fluke the 7 if he gets a hit. And Mario's got to start getting a hold of that shot clock situation.
Start the clock, please.
You won't want to get too close. You know, just a hair past the center of the table. That's the one thing about kiss shots. You don't have to be close to them because they're really just natural hits off the ball. Accuracy should be easy. Now this one's a little funny just because he's not going to cut the 5 a whole lot. So is the 5 going to come up for maybe a side pocket shot? It could get on top of the cue ball a bit.
Had to play that slowly, and the 8 ball just about toppled in at the death. Final revolution.
Oh, and he's sizing up the corner here. Okay, I was thinking the side. Sides aren't easy.
He let the stroke out there. Wow.
Yeah, and I think that's going to bode well for him overall. loosen up. He really hasn't had a shot yet to where he can really kind of freely swing the cue, and I think that's important.
Albin Ouschan, 3 racks on the trot, even though he is light years away at the moment from solving the mystery of the break. Fortunately for Ouschan, that also applies to Mario He. It's been bits and pieces stuff, scrappy at the start of racks, purely and simply because of their break issues. But in terms of spectacular pots, I think the 5 has to be regarded as the best we've seen up to this point.
Yeah, and I'll tell you again, especially seeing my opponent struggle making the 1 in the side on the cut, I certainly wouldn't be afraid to be the first one to just, you know, rear up and smash him head on, you know, like you've trained a lot of your life to do, and take a chance that way. You may really find something.
The venue is the Esperanto Hotel and Conference Centre in Fulda, central Germany. The tournament is the inaugural European Open, and 256 starters have been whittled down to just 4 title hopefuls. Next up after this, by the way, it's Jose Alberto Delgado taking on Shane Van Boening. What a treat for that young fella to see
the 8th rack.
The world champion.
Albin Ouschan to break.
And we've had some
by 4 racks to
female competitors here as well. Pool's female game is in a very healthy state right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Just pool in general. It's on the upswing. Deservedly so, really. And again, I mean, when are you going to... you know, sometimes when you played a tournament a certain way, maybe that thought of smashing them head on really hasn't, you know, entered your mind. I mean, what's the difference, right? If this isn't working, I mean...
Many years ago, we had a World Cup of Pool in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. The table was breaking easy all week. Hardly a dry break anywhere. And then they brought a dry ice machine in to do some shots before the final, and it affected the entire characteristics of the table. And we saw a preponderance of dry breaks in the title match. Since then, I can't recall seeing quite as many dry breaks as in this match.
Yeah, well, that
Extension
goes along
called.
with how the rules used to be. Looks like the 1 plays, but maybe no future on the 2 here. Tell you what, though, it'd be hard for me not to try and produce something with the 1 ball. I mean, he's got an angle. He's going away from the 2 and 3, but he can certainly maybe put a little low right English, drawing the cue ball to the top rail, swinging it 2 rails towards the 2 and 3. It looks like he's going to go for the safety. He's trying to come up on the 2 and 3, maybe bump it open. Did he cover the 1 up? He did. But the thing is, with so many balls on the table, these guys are so good tactically at kicking safe, you know, maybe prolonging the game one way or another. I'm surprised he didn't try to shoot there.
Well, of course, the great tacticians are the Filipinos, aren't they? And you get the feeling when they get their teeth into this new break change, they'll be loving it.
Yeah, and the Filipinos maybe led the way in that regard and really has taught the rest of the world so many things behind the strategy in the game. But out of the top players, the top ranked ones, that guy in your camera right there, I think, is probably the best, maybe. Pretty easy kick here. You want to come across the 1, bank the 1 up the left rail a little bit, send the cue ball towards the 9. Pretty mild speed. Oh, he got it.
Foul stroke.
Yeah, he's
Ball in hand.
just kind of lost it here for a little bit. That was a very easy shot for Mario.
Please start the clock.
Yes, some really unexpected mistakes. Okay, in the fifth rack, when Ouschan won his first, that was a dry break. But then in the second rack that Ouschan won, it was because Mario missed a one ball. And ever since, he's been really struggling.
Yeah, may have to play the 2 up long here. He's overran it just a little bit, but shouldn't be a problem. No, Albin, I wouldn't call it a perfectionist. I don't think that's really what too many pool players are. Game's really not about perfect. But with ball in hand, he wants to draw a pretty darn good position. So he's got to make a little bit more of a shot on the 2.
Extension called.
And this isn't the most comfortable way. If he's looking at a little subtle draw stroke by the 3, this isn't the most comfortable way to shoot this shot. A lot of the guys want to unload the stroke a little more. Now the 8 ball is such a huge ball, and if he got a little off angle here, Phil, maybe the 5's a concern as well, getting on that pink 4. It's a little buried on that right side rail. Oh, look at this. This is going to be sweet to watch. Is he drawing this?
It's one of those matches so far where the balls are actually being disobedient for both players.
Yeah, Mario started off real clean, and that actually started with the ball in hand shot. The ball in hand shot is what got him a little out of line on the 2. Couldn't quite play so perfect on the 3. And didn't expect that. I'm not even sure what he was trying there.
Well, tactically, that's the most glaring error you might see from Albin Ouschan in 2022.
Easy starter here. Looks like he's got just enough angle to get over for the 6 in the upper corner. Got to pay attention to these, though, going into that side pocket.
Mario He, the next 2.
A rare safety blunder from Ouschan, fully capitalised upon by Mario He. He needed that rack badly. He was losing his way somewhat. Now, though, he is 5-3 ahead. I must say, Jeremy, I think there was a stunned silence in the crowd when Albin Ouschan played that safety. He made a total hash of it, didn't he?
Yeah, and the overhead didn't do him a little justice. He's having to curve this ball just a little bit with right English. And just, you know, anytime you have to curve the ball just subtly, it can definitely get away from you. But I mean, I wouldn't put it on that myself. I would put it more on what happened prior, getting to that 4-ball. But yeah, we're used to Albin, whatever he chooses, usually executing it to its fullest.
What a career Ouschan has had. World Nineball champion last year, beating Omar Al-Shaheen in the final. Also won that title in 2016. Double World Cup champion with Mario here, of course. International Open champion, China Open champion.
Mario here to break, leading by 5 racks to 3.
And he's been on 4 winning Mosconi Cup teams, and he was most valuable player was Ouschan in 2016.
Yeah. Looks like Mario's staying to the cut. Okay, the one in the side. First time we've seen it this match. He's going to have an awful stretch for a right-hander, but I think he will attack on the 2. It is thin, but not easy. He'll evaluate, though, with the 4-8 with a cluster at the top of the table. I think he still attacks here on the 2-ball. Well, it's not the type of shot I would want to shoot with the bridge. I'd rather shoot this one lefty myself. Never liked the super thin cuts with the rest. Seems to me they tend to want to go to the, like a thick hit. Just like that.
Prophetic. Yeah, caught an awful lot of that top cushion early. That was never going to drop.
Pretty tricky here as well. If he can get in a prime position, drawing the ball here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, he hit it too clean, Phil.
Foul stroke, ball in hands.
Well, that cue ball has a cruel streak.
Start the clock, please.
It just gave Albin Ouschan a glimmer of hope. Almost stopped.
Foul stroke.
And then dropped in.
And interested to see what Mario does. Now, the thing to do here that is maybe fooling him, excuse me, this angle into that side pocket doesn't make easy speed on the cue ball. I probably play the other side pocket where I can play a hair thinner cut. And yeah, there you go. On that side, I would anyways. That way it's easier to go into the 8. This could get a double kiss and not really open the balls. Oh, it did. Nice shot.
Well, it was a double kiss, Jeremy, wasn't it? But just about thin enough.
And of course, we're just approaching the halfway part of this match. If Mario gets out here, but kind of feel he's weathered the storm a little bit, in my opinion, anyways. Made a couple mistakes, gave up a couple games, but now looking to get back to a 3-game lead.
And just when it looked as though Albin Ouschan had put together some racks and got some momentum, he's back in the doldrums.
Yeah, and of course this is professional sports and it's serious business, but I think it was you and I that talked about it earlier this week about, players enjoying it out there, right? And, I'm not in the brain of Albin, but I would have to say, at glance, it doesn't look like a whole lot of fun so far.
No, he is the epitome of seriousness when he's sitting in that chair, regardless. I watched his match against Badr Alawadi earlier this week. He was 9-1 the victor. He played brilliantly at times in that match, and a smile never flashed across his face. Not even a hint of a smirk.
Mario, he wins it.
He's got nothing to smile about here, Albin Ouschan. And the reason for that, Mario He leads by 6 racks to 3. He's more than halfway into the final. On our very first morning here in Fulda at the European Open, we saw a shock in the very first match we had on the main match table.
Thank you, Mario.
Seems a while ago now, but Senarib
Thank you, take a
Azar
seat
overcame
quickly, please.
Torsten
Rack number 10.
Homan.
Mario
That
needs a
set
break.
a pattern. We've seen
Leading by
upsets
6 racks to 3.
throughout the week, and maybe we're going to see a mild surprise here. The leading Austrian trailing by 6 racks to 3 against a fellow countryman.
Yeah, 6-ball tracking, but it's not going to go. Nice opener here for Albin and to start to remedy a few mistakes.
We knew the new break rules format was going to mean more dry breaks, but I don't think we anticipated quite this many. This match is off the charts.
Yeah, well, we did change from the template to hand racking, so there's a little more variables involved, and it's got a little angle here. Don't force it. You can work the cue ball off the 2 to the 3 with no problem. Kept the 4 pretty near the pocket, so it doesn't have to get perfect on the 3 ball. Should be just a little top left English. Just follow the cue ball a little past the center of the table. You'll notice the 5 doesn't pass the 6. So he'll want an angle about where the cue ball's at now, that type of angle, to come off the 4 to get to the back of the 5. Should be okay here. That went a long ways on him. And that's, those little things can get to Albin occasionally. See a little roll of the eyes, and he's going to have to maybe add a touch of right spin that shouldn't have been there in the first place, I think.
Wow. The 5 ball grazed the near jaw and stubbornly refused to drop.
Yeah, and you and I talk about this a lot, Phil, and with the top players in top sports, when nerves are high, they don't really release the cue, kind of like releasing the putter, and that's what got him there as well. Kind of seen it, not, I wouldn't say several times, but 2 or 3 times in this match.
His 4th missed pot. When it comes to unforced errors, almost in double figures, I would say.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't try to get too good on the 7 here. The 7's out in the middle of the table. You keep the cue ball off the rail coming across. You can work the cue ball. You don't want to, of course, missing the 6 really isn't going to happen, but you don't want to lose the cue ball in like the side pocket here or something, trying to get the premium position on the 7. Yeah, and that's just a big mental error is all that is.
Stroke.
Yeah, you can always draw your ball off the 7. Of course, getting the premium angle on the 7 is, you know, ideal, but ideal's not necessary.
You know, before the start today, we were talking about Albin Ouschan, myself and Carl Boys, and he was saying what a great player he is, but also how quite often he does get away with things, and he's got away with this rack, big style.
Yeah, I was talking to an amateur player earlier, and he was talking about commentary and different things we talk about. And the key point he thought was the biggest helper was it's not about what you want to do. It's a lot more about what's needed. And it's a good way to think about things when going through racks.
We thought that rack was going to hurt Albin Ouschan. He won't be pleased with the way he missed the 5 ball. But in the end, the hurt was all on Mario He. Scratching on the 6. That was an enormous difference. Instead of being 7-3 up, it's 6-4.
Yeah, and I just kind of felt it coming. I saw him looking to where, yeah, with ball in hand, you would like to get that nice angle on the 7. It's the kind of error in such a crucial moment that you kind of feel like it's going to punish him. You know, like, how many dry breaks does Albin have? Well, it seems like that would be the way to bet. Well, now I'd like to bet he makes a ball on the break after that big mistake.
Yeah, there's no scientific reason. You just get the vibes, don't you?
Yeah, that's right, Phil. And I've actually made that mistake with
11th
Mario
break.
so many times and gotten punished
Albin
behind it.
Ouschan
And
to
looky
break.
here, he's going to the head-on
by
break,
6
and I
breaks.
think that's a good move. Flukes the forehand, gets a shot on the one. Maybe a bank shot, but it is a shot. Look how many balls are up table. Wow.
Like one of those frames in snooker where all of the reds go up in the balk end. His first successful break, Albin Ouschan, a eureka moment.
Yeah, and it's a funny bank shot just because position is not easy. He can't really draw into the purple 5 with the 9 ball being there. Can't get into the 6. What I would consider here is, of course, I'm going to play the bank. I want to stay offensive. But is the real first shot on the 2 that bad? Like, say I go up by the 8 with the cue ball. Oh, he played a beautiful speed there, and that made the bank shot a heck of a lot tougher for him.
We've had one break and run out in the match so far. Mario He in the 4th rack to take a 4-0 lead. They've been in very short supply.
Oh, I've been at breakfast this morning, every morning about the same time. Pretty early, considering, but and Albin's rolled in about the same time every morning. Just happy to see him. Nothing different today, but he still is struggling a little bit with his swing. So we'll see if he can get a little more comfortable as the match goes.
Extension, please.
Well, that's ideal. Can come 1 rail or 2. A lot of the guys on the slick table don't mind the 2nd rail, but the 3rd diamond up before the side.
Albin Ouschan wins the rack.
Jeremy Jones, with all of his years of experience, called it. He was on the receiving end. Albin Ouschan delivers a break and run out, and now he trails by only 1 rack. Mario He's lead is trimmed to 6-5. High stakes here, very high stakes. $200,000 US, the total prize fund for the inaugural European Open. If you're in the semi-finals, 9,500 will be coming your way. Get to the final, and you're guaranteed 15,000. And then the jackpot, the winner will receive $30,000 US, and of course, an immense uplift, upgrade in the 9-ball rankings. Then you start to think about the Mosconi Cup.
Yeah, and as this continues with Matchroom and with the players, just what do you think 2023 is going to look like? Just all kinds of stories.
Break.
I'm sure there's going to be even more events added and more players participating, and again, a head-on break, and I think it's a good move. Don't be stubborn. And again, he's made a ball. Is the 1 going to come clean? The 6 maybe hangs. Still got to like the sign of making balls on the break, though.
Yeah, this is 9-ball, and here after that break, the 9-ball is very influential. It was actually moving in the general vicinity of a pocket before it got kissed, and now it blocks Ouschan's way.
Well, that kiss that you're seeing from that ball coming off the back rail is going to be pretty consistent on the 9, so that's another additive as far as breaking from, you know, a little more head-on the 1, and you're going to get some movement and maybe an early winner. And this is the tactical side of Albin we're used to seeing. Now Mario He, first time back at the table with the short cue after that huge scratch in the side pocket just 2 games ago. May go for this one, Phil. No reason not to, I think. I don't know. I think the 1's going to get covered up a bit by the 8. Cue ball's open, though. So he should come off his right side of the 1 here, tracking the cue ball 2 rails.
Please.
Oh, he's looking at the combo. That's surprising here. This is a pretty good place to play safe. I love aggressive, of course, and that's what makes him great, but very missable combination. You got to cut the 1 a lot. And the other thing is, with a combination, the 8's going to slide a little bit. I wouldn't doubt this gets into the back, you know, the short rail and hangs in the pocket. Oh, he's overcut it badly, and that to me, I don't know if that was the right play or not.
For someone who is, as we've established, so tactically astute, was that uncharacteristic? I think you have to say it was.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't the favorite to make, you know, the shot, but another reason why I know pool is such a true sport. I mean, he's climbed his way back into this match at 6-5, right? He's grinding. He hasn't had his best, but he's grinding. And now he gives an easy opportunity back to Mario. After Mario's last real effort was a huge mistake on that scratch in the side. So I don't know. I don't know if that was the right shot selection there for me. I'll tell you another thing that sometimes happens, and this happens in a lot of sports. As you know, he hasn't felt that great about his stroke the entire match, maybe. Maybe he wanted to prove a point to himself a little bit. Let me bury this combination, get to feeling better about what I'm doing, and put some racks together. But may have got the best of him there. He's kind of got to drag this in if he wants. I don't know if he's going to drag it in or kind of pinch it with draw. I like the drag shot myself. Yeah, I like that. Nice shot.
Extension, please.
I would stay away from top inside. Should be just back and forth. He's going top right. Oh, cleanly struck.
Always an aesthetically pleasing shot, I think, that the round the houses with running side. Mario He, again, 2 in front. 7-5. You know, one of the things that makes the pool world go round, debates on shot selection. You hear them all the time around the tournaments with the fans. Should he have done this? Shouldn't he have done that? Well, it may be with hindsight, but you have to seriously question whether he should have taken on this combo.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, again, a lot of people think the shot is the shot, no matter what. But I tend to disagree. Some days I look at a bank shot that I feel good about. Some days I play safe on it. Just scoreline has a lot to do with it. Nice shot here on the 8, going 3 cushions. But like I said, grinding back into the match and then taking on, I thought, was something low percentage. And the other part about it was there was no guaranteed shape on the 1 with such a thin hit on the 8. So it's not like he had a 100% reward if he buries that combo.
Yeah. The 13th rack. Mario Hayes leading the match by 7 racks to 5 and full break.
And of course, he will know that he now needs to make Ouschan remain in his seat, feeling ever worse.
Oh, man, look at this. 4 on the break. So making up for a few dry ones with that one at a key moment. Well, you'll notice those balls kiss by the corner pocket. And sometimes they kiss to keep them out of the hole. Quite the opposite here in rack number 13. Wow, look at that stat. Number of balls on the break. Triple the amount for Mario He. And Oschan just making balls the last 2 breaks as well.
Well, that last break broke the mold completely against the trend of the match so far.
Watch them all kiss right there by the corner, kiss by the side. Almost like a trick shot, it seemed like. All right, keep it simple here. Just come up by the right side pocket. Stay off the rail with the, ooh, squeeze that one in. He's gotten a little straight, but should be okay. May have to make a bit more of a shot. May have to come to the backside of the 8 and play it in a different pocket than originally intended. Wants to stay off the rail with the cue ball. We'll see. Yeah, this is perfect angle. He can level out. May add a hair of left English. Wouldn't be much.
Mario Hayes
4 balls on the break, and now a 3 rack advantage. Albin Ouschan is in deep trouble. He trails 8-5.
Thankedy 14th rack. Mario hit to break, leading by 8 racks to 5.
The expression of Albin Ouschan, the way he looks, the way he's feeling, tells its own story. He knows he's in danger of defeat.
Yeah, and somehow, ooh, an awful kiss on the one there, but somehow he's found a little timing on the break to start getting balls down. Looked like the one was going to come around for an offensive shot. Just a little sliver here on the 5. And really has put him in a bad spot as far as the rollout position. Anytime you have to roll out and you're protecting against an object ball that has other object balls around it, a lot of times you'll have to roll out to some type of kick shot or something, because you can't roll out to just an easy, obvious safety, and certainly not anything offensive.
By the way,
Push out called.
don't think this is a big match for Mario He. Think again. If he were to win here and get to the final,
Albin
he would
Ouschan.
leave Fulda at worst 5th in the live 9-ball rankings. Obviously, were he to win the final, there'd be more improvement still.
Yeah, the U.S. Open, of course, that'll be shortly after that is when the math will be done
Mario,
for
please
the
play again.
automatic bids and, of course, the captain's choices. But the purse also gets bigger with the U.S. Open, so therefore the points. So a lot of motivation for so many players on the Europe and U.S. side. Nothing wrong with hoisting a U.S. Open trophy, by the way. Not to take anything away from the Mosconi, of course. Very surprised that Albin passed this. This was a very natural play. Now, he's overhit it, so maybe Albin made a good choice, but it looked very natural to get behind the 2-9 to me.
Clear path available.
Looks like the one's a little
Extension call.
beyond the pink 4, because he doesn't want to contact the 4 here if he can help it. The 9's covering up the 2 ball a little bit, so he's got to get back down table, at least a little past the middle. Looks like he's putting a hair of left English, maybe to catch the one a little thinner, avoid that 4. That's probably the cleanest transition on the stroke I've seen the entire match from Albin. Still got to work. He wouldn't want to, unless he was perfect, he wouldn't want to try and get on that gap between the 7 8. He's going to have to cut the 4 a little, maybe go into the 7 apiece. Now, what he did there is try to get a little closer just to try and make accuracy a little better. And I think he's gotten to where maybe he can go by the 7. Because anytime you're thinner, you can hit it lighter, right? You don't ricochet off the object ball as much. Yeah, just like this.
Oschon went through.
To no one's surprise, Albin Ouschan is proving stubborn and resilient. That's his calling card, but he will need something more than stubborn. You get the feeling he will need spectacular. Maybe that is in the near future. 8-6 now. The mistake came from he. As Jeremy Jones said, the safety in behind the 2 and the 9 was definitely there, but it was just slightly overcooked.
Yeah, and it wasn't easy. That's why I commented about Albin. I'm still a little surprised he didn't take it, just because normally when a shot lays natural, these guys really capture the speed control pretty well. A real nice out from Albin there, closing the gap.
What he needs now is to channel memories of last year's World Nineball Championship final, when he was trailing Omar Al-Shaheen and he produced his best when it was required most.
Yeah, and maybe a mental dilemma here. You know, he's seen, Mario now make quite a few balls on the break these last couple of breaks. Does he go back to a cut break? Does he stick to the head-on? I think he sticks to the head-on just because he has made some balls doing that.
Break 15. Albin Ouschan is trailing by 8 racks to 6 in the break.
Watch the ball coming off the bottom rail, kick the 9. Yeah, and I think a good choice he's made so far. Best break off of the match.
Yeah, it's all very well in sport sticking to a game plan, but occasionally on the fly you have to modify the game plan.
Absolutely. That's the one thing, I mean, in our game you cannot be stubborn about, is the break spot and possibly how you're playing the break. Now, I don't know how well he can get on the 3. He may have to get a little thin on the 3, and I don't think the 2 is going to be a problem, but almost was. So with the 9 being here or there, that's a crucial shot. And you saw a little swing of the arm. Still don't think he's totally settled with his stroke. A lot of work left in this rack. Got to get properly on this 5. Get from the 5 to the 6, back up to the 7. You can see the 8 pinned on the left side rail near the side pocket. That looked pretty nice, and I think the stroke's getting better. That was a really nice transition. Should be 2 rails just by the 7 with a little high left English coming to the center of the table. Does want the angle on the 6. Now, maybe an obvious call, but very important coming across the table to stay off the rail. You can handle this a lot more than the rail. That's not that bad. Maybe not what he wanted, but should be okay.
That's one of his characteristics, one of his mannerisms. When he plays a slightly incorrect positional shot, you would think it was the end of the world.
Yeah, and what's funny to me about that is, and why it still lingers mentally for him, is he's played so much crucial doubles in the World Cup, the Mosconi Cup. What you do in doubles is you tell your partner you can handle a lot. You don't have to get perfect. And amazing it doesn't really kind of lean and lend over to his singles games at times.
comeback is surely about to continue.
Albin Ouschan went to right.
Every time he's been in big trouble, he's responded. He was 4-0 down, got it back to 4-3. He was 6-3 down, got it back to 6-5. Then 8-5 behind. Now, though, the scoreline reads 8-7. Anyone's match from here. And remember, in rack 16 coming up, it's Oschon to break. These days, 9-ball tournaments don't live in isolation. They mean so much. These are the live 9-ball rankings for 2023. And with so much prize money on offer here, and indeed at the US Open coming up, they are bound to show major alterations before the final ball is potted in Atlantic City. There you can see Mario He. If he wins today, he will replace Alexander Kazakis in 5th place minimum. Look at the names there. Shane Van Boning, #1. And if he were to lift the trophy later on this evening, his stranglehold on that top spot would be tightened.
8-7.
Yeah, it sure would. And I'll tell you, watch the 9-ball. I got a funny feeling about this rack and this breakoff. Oh, wow.
Jeremy, you have been deprived by a fraction of an inch of the greatest call in pool history.
Well, I don't know about that. We'd have to look through the history books. I just kind of felt it coming to tie this match, and wow, what a... You think pool is a brutal, tough game. Look how deep that ball is in the pocket.
I don't know who's more disappointed, Jeremy Jones or Albin Ouschan.
Well, absolutely Albin Ouschan. And now what? He's gotten a little thin here in the side pocket, and you see the hand to the brow. He's almost got to go offensive a little bit here. Take a cut shot. Just bleed the cue ball by the 3 to play the 3 in the same pocket as the 1. Yeah, blind pocket here on difficult sides, and what makes the tables we play on so difficult are the slates. They're so deep, and you can see that with the 9 hanging. Oh, nice shot. He shot it with a lot of confidence, and he's going to get an early winner here to extend that lead back to 2 games. Well, he's got a little more angle on the 3 than I thought, so should be able to come up to the top rail in between the 6 and the 4, then back down for the 4-9 combo.
Any contact on the 9 will do. They say, don't they, that pool is a game of fractions. It was shown there in the extreme. Almost a golden break. In the end, though, Mario He knocks in the combo, and now he leads 9-7. Look at the expression on Albin Ouschan's face. He feels aggrieved. Look at this 9-ball again. It was millimeters away from going golden.
Yeah, earlier in the week, that ball falls. Just as the week goes on, the table gets a little more worn, and the pockets get a little tougher. Really unbelievable.
Thank you, the 17th rack. Mario He to break, leading by 9 racks to 7.
You just saw there when the 9-ball stopped and he knew it wasn't going to go in, the first thing that Ouschan did was look around the table for any sign of hope, and there was none.
A break and run would go a long ways here. I don't know if he's going to get an open shot on the 2. It looks like he's up behind the 7. Tell you what, though,
Push shot called.
he does advance in this match and get to that final. I wouldn't have to go so far as to label, you know, a big favorite in the match, no matter who he plays, but he's got to like the way he's breaking. I'll tell you that. Shane Van Boening struggled on the break pretty much the entire tournament. He'll tell you the same. Delgado, we can't overlook him. He's obviously broke the balls well to get here.
The 7 here, a little rude, to say the least.
Your option, Albin.
And we'll see. Rollouts passed up on a little more these days that I was accustomed to back when I played most of my professional career, but we'll see where, I think the 2 into the 5 maybe? Cut the 2 into the 5 and try and run the cue ball as long as the scratch isn't really there. You can run the cue ball 2 rails up behind the 6 maybe, 6 and the 7. Doesn't look too bad to me. Looks fairly natural, even though it does require execution.
Please play again, Mario.
I guess the other shot would be maybe play the cue ball into the 5. I would cut the 2 into the 5 myself. And again, this from Albin passing that, maybe not feeling his best. You got to let the 2 get away. He's going to need some help. And a good decision, it looks like, from Albin.
Yeah, vindication.
You know, what the guys don't recognize is they're always trying to hit the 5 fully on that shot, right? And the mistake is to overcut it. But you can actually handle hitting the 5 on the thick side, you know, on the left side of the 5, and the 2 would just come up by the 9. It would never get over the pocket. But they're always wanting to hit that ball perfectly and perfect hard. Okay, we're going to have to see the stroke one way or another, whether it's high top spin stroke or on the bottom of the cue ball. And the 8 plays a little bit in the way for the high English shot.
What I will say is that Mario He generates an awful lot of screw back power, and he's played a couple of shots in this match that he's not got hold of. I wonder if the table is less responsive than it was to that kind of shot, so maybe it will be the top of the ball aimed at. Yes, indeed it is.
And that's that 8 ball I was talking about, though. I think he does have a look at the purple 5, so still a favorite to pocket this ball, but much more difficult than what he really wanted. Key to this shot is clean stroke, the angle moves the cue ball a little bit of high right, should be okay. Come 1 rail, catching the top rail between the 9 and 7. Oh, it looks like he may be putting inside English, coming 2 cushions. He did do the high right, just not settled. And it's been the entire match for the most part where just the stroke and the timing just hasn't been there.
What a gilt-edged opportunity for Mario He to arrive on the hill.
Extension called.
Yeah, the cue ball is going to get turned loose a little bit here. Now I wonder if he has any interest in going to the 8 and 9 right here, just to try and make sure the cue ball doesn't get lost in the top left corner. Because this is thin, so we know what that means. Cue ball will have speed. It's a little elevated though, so I doubt he wants to put a lot of right English on this shot. Oh, nice shot, Mario. He's not going to be happy with this. There's nothing going to be comfortable getting on the 8 from here. Don't think the 8 plays in the lower left, and if it doesn't, he's gotten in about the worst possible place for having a decent shot on the 7 to try and produce position on the 8. Nothing natural at all. And you talked about that power just a moment ago, right? We may have to see it here. We'll see if he goes on the bottom of the ball. Is he going to get anything at all besides something very odd? He's got to remember that shot clock is moving. This is a hard situation, but he's got to make a decision. That way he delivers the best stroke possible. Got to play the 9. Yeah, he may fluke the 8 as well. Oh, he's playing the cut? Wow, that was surprising to me.
Every time you think Mario he is going to apply a telling blow, somehow Ouschan gets away with it. The words of Carl Boys this morning to me ringing true here. Ouschan gets away with things, and he's got away with this rack. There's no doubt about that. It might have been a 3-rack deficit. It is just a single rack. Mario he stalls on 9. sometimes in cue sports, a mistake-filled match is the most compelling. That was a very high tariff cut, wasn't it, on the 8? That was asking an awful lot at any time in any match against anyone, let alone the critical phase of a European Open semi-final against
Thank you, the 18th.
a double world champion.
Albin Ouschan to break, trailing by 9 racks to 8.
One ball with a couple kisses gets slammed in the corner. 2 gets covered up again.
Yeah, the cue ball and the 2, it's a long distance relationship.
Yeah, I think he's got to gamble and take the safety shot here, trying to clip the 2. He's got a few balls here to help him, the 3, the 5, and the 6, trying to run the cue ball. There are gaps there, and you could easily leave a shot, but I think if he rolls out, he'll roll out to a similar line, maybe a little closer to the 2, but certainly wouldn't get it back. I think he's supposed to take this on. Unless he's a little worried about fouling if he put a little right English on this, maybe catching the 9 coming in, but I think he's supposed to take this on. Of course, it's easy from the chair where we're at,
Push
Phil,
out
right?
cold.
And what they're doing here a lot of times is they don't mind if their
Your choice,
opponent
Mario.
wants to take it. So similar position. Basically, you're kind of on the fence whether it's the right shot or not to take this on. So Mario's got to make a decision. One of the most important safeties you need to practice. Clipping the ball and running the cue ball multiple rails up table behind other balls. Comes up so much in crucial moments. I think there's too many variables to pass it. I think too many good things can happen. Yeah, nice shot. If the 5 wasn't there, Phil, you may pass the shot. But with the 5 there, it's just too big a ball. And I really can't believe Albin didn't shoot from the break, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the push out again, underlining that a man known for his clarity of thought
Extension, please.
has fallen a little below his normal standards in this match in that regard.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's, necessarily that. I think he's uncomfortable with his delivery right now, and that's a subtle little touchy shot. I think he recognized the situation and what might happen. But it's hard to rely on a mistake from your opponent in professional sports. I mean, I like the mentality of taking it on yourself, even if you are dogging it a little bit. And maybe that's a harsh way to say it. Maybe just underperforming. If he hits it, good chance he makes it.
Foul
Man,
stroke.
he's been way off from the first
Illegal
game.
contact.
Remember the kick shot he had to take on the 2, and it just hasn't been there in this semifinal.
Please start it.
Well, I'll say what I said in the previous rack. Mario He has gilt-edged opportunity to move to the hill.
Okay. The 4-7 combo really makes it easy to where playing on the 3 is. I think you want to maybe get to the side rail there because you want to cut the 4 into the 7 a little bit. You don't want to be head on. That way you can play it nice and easy and the 4 doesn't drop. He certainly didn't intend to have to use the rest on the second shot here. And you don't want to get straight on the 4. Oh my, this is falling apart from nowhere. And that started with ball in hand. Now, he shouldn't have had a problem there anyways, but
frazzled.
Extension, please.
yeah, and he could have rolled that in instead of coming backwards and shot the 4-7 from long distance with no problem. It's kind of Murphy's Law thing, right? Possibility of getting snookered, it certainly can happen. Wow, how did that not fall?
That is extraordinary. He could stand there all day, play that shot, and try and keep the 7 out.
Yeah, it wasn't as deep as the 9-ball we saw hang a few games ago, but look at this. Just hits it just perfect. Again, those deep shelves make the game a lot tougher, and that was amazing.
Those words of Carl Boyers continuing to ring in my ears. Albin gets away with stuff, and he does. He just does.
Yeah. But with ball in hand on the 2, I mean, who would have thought that Mario doesn't get a clean shot on the 4?
Given the way the last 2 racks have gone, this could be over.
Albin Ouschan.
Talk about living dangerously. Albin Ouschan on level terms with Mario He. I still can't believe that is the actual scoreline. Now, can he push on and make the most of what is undoubtedly his good fortune? Aided, of course, by the fact his opponent isn't taking advantage of opportunities.
And probably on that rest shot a little let up again, but that right there, we thought contact the 7 any kind of way, it has to go, and that's, you couldn't try to do that. You could take all year and try to shoot that shot, contact the 7 and make it hang up. Just, it seems like that's why sports is so incredible. You can't script it.
You know, this match is very reminiscent to me of Eklund Kachi against Alexander Kazakis in the World Masters semi-final a couple of years ago. Kazakis
Thankeri 19th.
won that
We are all squared 9
somehow,
rackets.
and then
Albin Ouschan.
he was so relieved to be through. He played very well in the final and beat Shane Van Boening 9-0.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, you know, if Albin does get through this match, it wouldn't surprise me if he went on to play perfect in the final, win or lose, but pressure. Pressure, that's what busted the pipe, right? It's pressure. Now Mario He's got to collect himself. He's got a great starting shot on the 1. Now you'll notice he broke from the left a little bit, hit a hair on the right. I think that had a little bit to do with the success of the break that he's been having here the last few for Albin. No easy layout here, though. You'll notice the 3 is near the 2 here in a moment. And he can't get straight on the 2. So he has to play for an angle either to go into the 3 off of the 2 or work the cue ball off the 2 back to the 3. Nothing easy.
And look at that, Albin Ouschan on level terms, despite being guilty of 6 dry breaks.
And it looks like he's going with top inside, trying to go towards the 3 with the cue ball. Watch out, watch out. Oh my.
Foul stroke, ball in hand.
Stick the record on the player. Albin Ouschan gets away with stuff.
And that's that same side pocket that really, I think, got Albin back in the match with that scratch earlier on the 6th ball to take a very commanding lead. Mario just can't get rid of a few mistakes here at the biggest moments. Little stretch here over the 8.
And that's what the game does to you. The highest of highs, the lowest of lows. And frustration always lurking somewhere.
Yeah, doesn't have to do much here. I don't think he comes back with the cue ball too much. Can't get straight in on the 5. That would be ideal, but the 8's in the way of that. So he'll take a little cut shot on the 5. 6 is easy. Oh, he's going forward. Wow. So that tells me he's playing the 5 in the corner. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. He wanted to move the cue ball. He chose to move the cue ball a little more on that shot than move the cue ball on the 5, and that's fine.
Mario can't look. Is he having a sneaky peek through his fingers?
That's what it looked like. I don't know if he was just using his ears to see the balls drop. No, you can see him just casually looking through that little gap. I'm sure he's having a talk with himself at the same time. Sometimes you just got to believe you're going to get an opportunity and shake all those mistakes away.
Albin Ouschan number 2.
How on earth is Albin Ouschan on the hill? But he is, and he beats Mario He to it. Ouschan's lead is 10 racks to 9 with the target 11. I'm not surprised that Mario He has chosen to exit the arena for a while. He needs to decompress because the last 3 racks have been nightmare territory for him.
Yeah, you would figure any one of those racks would have led to a victory possibly, and just overcooked it a little bit here. Didn't get the right spin, and I wonder if he was trying to get into the rail with the cue ball above the 4 is what I'm guessing. He certainly wouldn't have taken that path and then overhit the ball like that. I think he expected, again, more right spin and to get into that side rail.
The way this match has gone, and the psychology of pool, is that if Ouschan does overcome an increasingly distraught Mario He will arrive in the final feeling it might be a free ticket. Now, this is the way the Matchroom 9-ball schedule is shaped up so far this year. One thing missing from there is the Premier League pool, which got things underway in Milton Keynes. That was back in February. And I can tell you, Albin Ouschan won that. Then, of course, Shane Van Boning won the big one, the World 9-Ball Championship. There was a Joshua Filler double at the World Masters in Gibraltar, then at the UK Open at the Copper Box Arena in East London. Spain, David Alcaide and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz were triumphant at the World Cup of Pool in the hometown of Matchroom, Brentwood in Essex. Here we are at the European Open. Next up for us in a couple of months' time, it's a trip to Harrah's in Atlantic City in New Jersey, USA. for the US Open. Personally, my favourite tournament of the entire year. And then it's the Mosconi Cup, Europe against USA in Sin City, Las Vegas. That's from November 30 to December 3. Right there in the heart of the Strip, in what is now Bally's Casino. By the time we arrive, it will be the Horseshoe.
Yeah, one of the most historic names in Vegas, the Horseshoe. Here you have Delgado with some of his countrymen, and I'll tell you, Singapore played a great final, and you've been to almost all the World Cups, I believe, or many of them, Phil. But have you ever seen a team kind of rob the tournament more than Spain did this year?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Although I will say, the year before that, the Germans were very lucky indeed to beat Darren Appleton and our own Carl Boyes in the final.
Yeah, Boise and Darren made one heck of a run for Great Britain, but I wasn't there for that one. But I'll tell you, I've watched several of them, and I was there for one prior when Albin and Mario, he actually won ironically. But I tell you what, from the start of every match for Spain in that World Cup, it sure didn't seem like a match. They just played so well.
Can Mario He wash away the angst? First, he's got to get back to the table because it's Ouschan breaking.
And that would be my worry, the last part of that sentence, Phil. Am I going to get the opportunity? Because he's had some. Not much movement on the 9. Doesn't appear anything down. Is the 1 going to dress up over the side? No. I think that's a pretty difficult play. Queuing over the 8 as well. The cross side bank covered up by the 2. So even though he's got to look at the 1 here, we may see a push out. I think this is not a playable ball on the side. No, it's not, and it's awfully thin for the corner.
Sentences you never think you will say. Albin Ouschan has now had 7 dry breaks.
Now we'll have another look at the table here shortly, and you don't want to roll out when you have an open look, but I really, besides a very dangerous shot coming off the left side of the 1, trying to coast the cue ball down behind just a portion of the 5. You could put the 1 out in space and definitely leave a long shot there, but I think going for the cut is ill-advised. I mean, I love to see aggressive, and I think these guys are the best in the world because of their aggressive nature, but be the shot of the match.
Push out called?
Yeah, I think that's the smart play. I mean,
your choice, Albin.
Mario He not just fighting for a place in the final, he's fighting to avoid what would be undoubted scar tissue going forward. This is one of those matches that lingers.
No, Albin sizing up things. I'm trying to think about it myself, and yeah,
Play
this
again,
would be
please,
one
Mario.
that I may pass. A little better cueing for Mario, moving the cue ball away from over top of the 8.
Not very often you see Albin Ouschan outsmile an opponent. One was stony-faced.
Good friends, though. I'm not sure where he's going with this, Phil. Is he cutting it? Yeah, that was tough. And Albin's going to get a straight-in 1 ball to end this match.
You have to feel for Mario He. It's a concoction of circumstance. He's missed his share. He's had some poor running. Ouschan's had some favourable running. And this will be a very, very bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah, and, of course, Albin was a hair of a favorite in this match, but I wouldn't say by much myself. A little shy there, but just like any other sporting event, you have to pounce. If you get that chance to to sit or end these world champions and great players runs, you have to do so when the opportunity rises. And a little unlucky for the one to get trapped right there on the side rail there, but you know, if you look at the entire match, I think you really kind of put unlucky aside.
The question though now, can he hold himself together and clear these balls?
This shot will tell us. If he gets proper on the 3, it's going to be hard for him not to get out. 4, 5, and 6 near the 7 and 8 group together. Just got to pull the cue ball up the side rail here with a little low left English. Well, can he avoid the 9 here? Does he have to draw by the 9? If he has to draw by the 9 to avoid it, he could lose the speed control a little bit. Definitely not going to miss the ball, but now he might be able to ease this in, avoiding the 9 that way. Just play the 5 either in the side or up the table. He's going to get on the 50 a little.
And these middle pocket jaws are unforgiving.
Yeah, the shot that I think of is Josh Fielder's last shot in the tournament, that 6 ball on the side.
It caught a good portion of the far jaw. That, especially at that pace, that could have been repelled.
Yeah, but the better the stroke opens up the pocket a little bit, and that was one of his best the entire match, excuse me.
Maximising the angle off the 6 ball for the 7. And now Mario, he is fearing the worst. He will leave here sick.
Yeah, a little choice here. Does he want to use 2 rails or just 1 rail cross? Just preference. And now he'll certainly use 2 rails coming down for a straight in shot on the 9 and a spot in our European Open final.
This is it.
Albin Ouschan wants to whack.
Great champions find a way. And Albin Ouschan found a way there against his good pal and World Cup colleague. Mario He led 4-0. Much later on, he led 9-7, but that was as good as it got. Ouschan somehow, don't ask me how, won the last 4 racks, and he moves to the final with an 11-9 victory. Nineball pool at its most dramatic.